Welcome, y'all, to So You Mean to Tell Me, the podcast. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I missed you. Today, we have a very special guest on this episode, Shawn, my very good friend, aka my brother. I've known Shawn since high school. Really, it's crazy, funny story. We was in the same, what was it, second grade?
Yeah,
Second
there's
grade
more.
class, and we didn't even freaking know until like college. So that's crazy. But yeah, this has been my friend for years. Little background on Shawn. He is a progressive black man. So he is a member of PBM, which is a community org. He runs a sports analyst page, the Emerald Analyst, the best sports analyst page out there. So y'all make sure to go check that out. And he attends BSU and he is a marketing major. So I'll make sure to leave all his information below in the description. Y'all make sure to check him out and get connected because he is a great person. So if you read the title of this episode, you know that this is about generational trauma. You ready to talk about this, friend?
I'm ready. Intro though.
You said what?
W intro. I like the pink speaker too.
You like that? You like that?
Yeah.
You know. Got the vibes going. All right, friend, we're gonna get right into it because I don't want to waste your time. So I just got
Okay.
a couple of questions for you. I'm gonna go ahead and ask them, and then we're gonna just discuss. So I want to let the viewers know what generational trauma is because some people may not know. So basically, generational trauma is just an emotional or a psychological trauma given to you from past generations, and that has been given to them from past generations. So that could be your mom got it from your grandma, she gave it to you, or your great grandma got it from your grandma, she gave it to your mom, just things like that. So we're gonna just ask generational trauma as it relates to your life, and just get a little background into you. So I do want to put out a trigger warning, y'all, just in case like it's a little difficult for you to listen to because some people it can be kind of hard to relive things, and hearing other people's experiences can trigger your own. So just so y'all know, put a little trigger warning out there. It is gonna get real. It's gonna get deep. All right, friend. So the first question I have for you is, when did you realize that you were suffering from generational trauma? Was that in your adulthood or your childhood?
Honestly, I would have to say my childhood. I feel like the first time when I realized, like, dang, I want to like run away from home. Like it
Yikes.
used to start off as a joke, but then I was like, dang, I really feel like I would be better off if like I was on my own, cause like I felt like my mom was like taking out stuff that her parents did on her on us,
Mm-hmm.
and she felt like that's just how like you supposed to raise kids because that's what her parents did to her, and in her household I feel like we didn't really have a voice. Like she raised us to you know whatever the grown up says is what goes, and whatever
Right.
you say you're in a kid's place. So you stay in the child's place, doesn't matter what you think you're paying or anything like that. So I would
Mm.
definitely have to say when I was younger, probably like going into high school.
Wow, that's really crazy. Can you pinpoint any like exact things? Like you said, okay, you didn't have a voice. Was it a situation where she just didn't listen to you at all, or was it a different situation where you were just scared to speak in general?
So I was let me go back to when I first started working. Like so when I first started working, I would always have to go and like find my own way to work, have to
Mm-hmm.
take care of myself. Like my mom, the reason I got the job was to help my mom out with the bills because like she was a single parent raising three kids. I was like,
Right.
I'm able to work. I want extra money so I can get stuff I need for myself. So I started working. I worked at Kroger's. It was like 10 minutes away from where I lived at. At first, my mom would take me to work whenever I need to, but then like once she started seeing how like I was getting a paycheck in, like she would make me start like paying bills there,
Mm-hmm.
and I tried to voice to her like, hey, like I'm happy to help you out, but like I feel like if I'm gonna be helping out, like I need you to help me out because like I was also like after like the first few weeks she would like stop making sure I got to work. I had to have a friend drive me. I have to Uber and like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hey, if I'm giving you money like for like this and that, at least you could do like give me a ride. But like
Right.
she would always say like it's up to me to get there. Uh, I have to find my own way. My money is nothing to her. Like I remember we had this one argument because I was like, hey, I feel like, you need me to help you out. So, it'd be only fair if you help me out. And she got mad. She was like, yeah, your money's not nothing to me. That little paycheck doesn't do nothing for me. I don't need your help.
Wow.
I'll keep you home if I need to. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And then like, so after that, I was like, it is what it is. I'm just gonna figure my own way out. So
Mm.
then like, fast forward, there was this one time like, I remember my phone dropped on the ground, and like she called me, but I was sleeping. I used to have a bunk bed, so like when your phone falls on the ground, like you're not gonna hear that. So I finally wake up. I see all the missed calls. I try to call her back. My phone says it does not have any service and like that. So if she finally gets home, she tells me she turns my phone. I said, okay, cool. I still had to work that day. So keep in mind, she still does not take me to work. So I had to walk. This is when I was working at McDonald's now. I had to walk 15 minutes. Well, it was like
No,
a
sir.
15-minute drive, but it was like I don't know how many miles that is. But I had to walk
I
from
know,
home
I
all the way
know,
down
because
there.
you know I know which McDonald's you're talking about. So
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, no sir,
So anyway,
no
she I,
sir.
I finally get back home that night, and she's like sitting in the living room waiting for me, mad as hell, saying why I didn't call her, come get me, why I just left without saying anything, why it took me so long. And I'm like, first of all, you turned my phone off, and then you refused to take me to work. So
How was
what
I
do you want
supposed
me
to
to do?
call you?
That's what I'm saying. Like, and she's like, oh, you make excuse. You just want to do that out of spite. And like, I just felt like anything I said was like, it's going in one ear and out the other because like she felt like everything she was doing is right, and she didn't like how like I would react to the stuff that she would do.
No, that's crazy. I'm sorry you had to go through that because I can only imagine you walking and then McDonald's closed in the wee hours of the morning.
Definitely,
So not only was that unsafe, it just wasn't right. And you were just a kid. Like you weren't even 18 at this time. You know what I'm saying? So you even wanting to give her your paycheck says a lot about your character to even begin with. You wanted to help out. So I really don't like the way that she handled that situation. I feel like it could have been a better situation. All she had to really do was just take you to work and then I
definitely,
could help you out. But that's
definitely.
neither here nor there because I definitely remember that time in your life. So yeah, I am sorry that that has happened to you. When this was going on in your life, did you feel like you had anybody that you could talk to?
Of course, I had people that would like sit there and listen, but like I grew up learning to keep stuff to myself.
Mm.
And I feel like I'm realizing now it has a lot to do like how I was raised. Like when I would
Mm-hmm.
try to speak up about how I feel, I was told like, to be a man about it, or like it would just get like played off like there's nothing wrong with you. So like of course I had like good friends like you. I could have talked to you about it if I wanted to, but like a lot of stuff like I just kept to myself. 'Cause I was like I convinced myself it wasn't that serious, and like
Yes.
I'm overreacting. Like it just get better.
Oh,
And
that's crazy. It's crazy how we'll do that. We'll minimize the situation. Like, no, it really was that serious, and how you felt really did matter. And it's crazy now growing up. Like, I talk to you and I talk to some of my other guy friends, and I hear them say that same thing. Like, be a man about it. And I really don't even know what is that even supposed to mean. Like, what what is a man supposed to be?
facts.
Who said a man can't feel? Who said a man can't cry? Who said a man can't have emotions? So I really do hate that stigma. But one thing I am realizing is I feel like a lot of people are starting to speak up about it. Like a lot of people are starting to say it is a problem. It's one of those things where some people are saying it, and even though they're not really like taking it serious, like they'll say it, but they'll still treat men like, oh, you're sassy, you're zesty, you're this, that, and the third. But I think that's the start. At least it's the awareness, and from there we'll just have to do a better job of like just educating people and making men feel comfortable. Giving y'all that open space. We can't just tell y'all, yeah, you can be open, and then when you're open, ridicule you.
Definitely,
So
I
yeah,
definitely agree with that. Like
yeah.
especially like society now. Like I feel like what is considered like being a man is changing over and over and over again. Cause like there's
Hmm.
like new stigmas of like what a man should do, what a man shouldn't do. Especially since like women are getting more like freedom to like build their own life without a man. It's like what a man is expected to do is changing as society is changing.
And I think that's crazy because when did we start looking to society and to other people to validate like what a man should be or like what a person should be? I really think that that's crazy because I don't know. I just feel like different situations cause for different outcomes. Like a man in this situation is doing something that a man in that situation may be doing differently, and that could just because of that dynamic is different. I just think people try to put these takes on things, and that it just doesn't apply to everybody. But
Definitely.
that's just
It's
how
a
I
lot
feel.
of people comparing other relationships to yours,
Exactly.
and that's why you just stay in your own lane. Everybody grows up differently. Everybody, comes from a different past, comes from a different like relationship with their parents, and are raised different ways. So I
Exactly.
feel like,
And they say thief is the comparison of joy. So
yeah,
hmm so, yeah, we gotta really stop doing that. I know that you said that she did things like turn off your phone and silence you and make you feel ignored. Were there any other things that went on that you were say that were traumatic? Anything like
um,
nagging or yelling or gaslighting, stuff like
I
that?
would say there was this one time because like at a certain point in high school, I was basically taking care of myself. I was buying my own clothes, buying my own food, finding my own ways to school, finding my own ways to work. Just basically just take. I basically was like a tenant in her house. And this one time, she didn't want to go get my I guess my brother and my sister some food, and she was asking like I could only eat the food that I bought. Like she didn't allow me like to go in her refrigerator. She didn't allow me to go to the cabinet. Like I could only eat what I bought. And it was this time like she wanted me to like to give up the last bit of like food that I had left that I had bought, and I was like, okay, so what am I gonna eat? Like if I give that up, because like, I think my brother wanted it, and I was like, I mean, I don't mind, but like what did I gonna eat?
Right.
Like and she was like, she got mad. Like she was like, okay, that's cool. She hung up, and when I got home, like she was yelling at me, and then I got kicked out the house like I think that night. So I
Wow.
just remember like yeah, I just remember like just roaming around. Um, I don't know what I did. I think I just roamed around until like the morning. And I
And
finally.
you didn't have a car at this point.
I know I didn't. I didn't have a car till like
Yeah.
second year of college.
Do you know like where this stemmed from with her? Like, is it a generational trauma? Like, did something happen to her in her childhood with her family that you're aware of? I mean, you don't have to go into detail, of course, but is it something that happened to her and that's why she reacts the way she does? Or,
I so what I've learned to know is like I feel like she reacts not only just from how like she was raised, because I seen based how her relationship is with her father,
mm-hmm,
when because she called him about something serious, and the way he reacted to it was not something like it wasn't a caring way at all. He actually hung up in her face, and like
wow,
and the way she reacted from that, it made me realize like the why she is the way she is, and she does deal with stuff on her own time, but like she doesn't. I guess she doesn't take it serious.
right,
Like
right,
she has gotten better with it, you know, since that incident. But like that was just like a big eye opener, and I feel like she also like even if she doesn't admit it, I do feel like she does a blame. Like not even if it's just me, but like she blames us for like her not having a life that she feel like she could have had because of like
right.
choices she made with certain people. Um, and I feel like since like I resemble my father a lot. Like I feel like she sees him in me, and I feel like it also stems from that as well.
That makes me really upset. That makes me really upset because I hear that often, like, some mothers they don't get along with the fathers, or they have really bad relationships with the fathers, and they say, I don't really know how true this is, but the grannies say this: if you're carrying while you're carrying the baby, whoever you didn't like or whoever was talking about you, that's who the baby will look like. So it's
Mm,
crazy, just thinking, you look like your father, you may look like your father, and they don't have the best relationship, so now you're getting the worst part of the stick because you look like him. Like, that's just not your fault. Like, that's
exactly.
just not your fault. That just doesn't make any sense. Of course he's gonna look like the other parent. Like, that's the genes. That's what's supposed to happen. I wasn't the best at science, but I know a little. Like, that's how it's
Yeah,
supposed to go. So that's crazy.
and then we have the same exact name as well.
Oh yeah, yeah, Mr. SJ, I
Like,
already know.
yeah.
Dang. I do empathize with her though. Like, I do, like, I really don't agree with anything you just said. I don't agree with because I know more than what you say, so like I don't agree with any of that. But
Mm,
I do empathize with her because I've grown up to really like understand that people will go through things, and like you said, how you are. You don't really talk to people about a lot of things, and she may be the same way. and she's much older than us, so she's been going through it longer, so we don't really know like what toll that can really take on you when you're going through something for decades and you don't talk about it. Because when we were growing up, we couldn't talk about it, but when she was growing up, she really couldn't talk about it. So do you blame her, or do you have you forgiven her?
Oh yeah, I've forgiven her now. Like
That's
our
good.
relationship is a lot better than what it was because like I have like more of a insight on like why she is the way she is and like
Mm-hmm.
where is all that stemming from. So like I honestly don't blame anybody because like to be forgiven you have to forgive,
Right.
and I learned just to forgive and let that go because I would not let that dictate how I will raise my kids and how I
Mm-hmm.
will live my life. I do sympathize with her as well because I know like based off how she's grown up, like it's hard for her to change how she is because
Right.
once you've done something the same for so long, it's hard like just to go a different route.
Mm-hmm.
And I had learned to be understanding about that. Like it's taking time. Like she has gotten better. Like she has gotten better. She still has to work on some stuff
Mm-hmm.
that she doesn't quite see. But like you only will see it. You can see what you're not doing wrong. Nobody can't tell you. So
Right.
I'm giving her that time. But it has gotten a lot better.
I really think it's a beautiful thing to hear you say that you've forgiven her. I think that that is such a beautiful thing because I don't know, man. I just feel like maybe it's just me, or maybe it's me and the people that I'm around, me, my friends. But I feel like our parents and the older generations, like they're big on holding grudges. Like they will be mad about something and they'll be mad about that junk for eons and eons. Like let that junk go. Like what are y'all talking about? Especially as it relates to family. Like I just feel like they'll be mad for a really long time, especially with their children, which I think is super strange, but story for another day. And I think that it's really beautiful that the younger generation is really maturing emotionally way beyond what the older generations have. The mental health talks, the depression talks, the suicide talks, like everything is so much more open now, and they just didn't talk about things back then, especially in our community. So I really just like hearing you say that. It's just the growth, friend. The growth is such a beautiful thing. I'm so proud of you. I really am.
Thank you.
Of course.
But I
Okay.
also do agree. I'm
What'd you
sorry. Go
say?
ahead. I was saying I agree with you because like I just feel like our generations had to grow up a lot faster than normally.
Yeah, and it's really crazy, like, cause I was talking to my brother and sister today. Actually, like they call me every time something happens at school, every time something's wrong, and I just be listening to the things that be going on. I'm like, these kids, what are y'all talking about? Like, they want iPhones and they want MacBooks, and I'm like, y'all don't want to go outside, y'all don't want to go to the water park, y'all don't want
Mhm.
to. This is like they're growing up so fast. I don't know. It's the technology or something.
It has to be.
So, what would you say that you needed as a child, like in that time? What would you say that you needed back then that was missing?
Um, I guess just a safe space. I never
Right.
really felt like growing up. I never felt like I fit in anywhere.
Mm.
Yeah, like I feel like I had like friends and all that, but like, I always felt like I don't know. I always felt like I was watching my life out like through somebody else's eyes. I
Yeah.
never felt like I was my true self. I never felt like I could be my true self around people. I was always worrying about what other people thought about me.
Mm.
I always felt like I was behind everybody else, like especially with like experiences, because like I never got to, hang out with friends outside of that. Like the only time I got to see other people other than my family was like at school.
At school. Yep.
Yeah, like I never could. Like I got to go outside for a brief time in my childhood, but even that stopped. And I just never really got experience. Like I feel like growing up as a kid, I always felt like just trapped.
And I feel like you
That
just you
makes
really
sense.
had to grow up fast. You working and paying the bills for the house and stuff like that. So yeah, you really were robbed of a lot of childhood experiences. That's
Definitely.
crazy. So what would you say that you wanted to do better? Because I know you are going to be a father. Shout out to you. Congratulations. Baby Ray
Thank
on
you.
the way. So with you being a father, with your daughter on the way soon, what do you want to do differently as a parent to break the generational curse?
So I just want to be able to create an open space or open household for my child. I don't want her to feel like she can't tell me anything. She has to hide stuff from us. She has to
Hmm.
lie to us. Like I know, like I'm not gonna be able to control like stuff that goes on in her life, and I have to
Right.
learn to be understanding about some stuff because she is her own person at the end of the day.
Hmm.
But I want to be able to create like a relationship with her that she feels like she can come and talk to me about anything, whether it's about sex, boys, drugs, anything that she just comes to mind. Like, cause I know like I can't hide her from all like the stuff that's going on in the world. Like she's gonna find out about stuff whether I try my hardest or not. But I want her
Hmm.
to be able to feel like she can always come home. Like even if like when she's like grown and out doing her own thing, if she needs to come home like to rebuild herself to get herself together, I want to know that she can come home. She won't be judged. She won't be
Right.
ridiculed. That this home is a safe space for her anytime she needs it.
I really think that's major because I can, this isn't about me, but just to say like a little thing, I can vividly remember like being a child and being scared to say something just because like you just your parent and you know how they're gonna react. Like if they're gonna get mad, if they're gonna yell, if they're gonna go crazy. Like, and I would be like walking on eggshells, scared to death because I didn't want to make her mad and I didn't want to get her on a freaking rampage. Because baby, when she don't stop. So I remember like literally being scared, and I like to hear you say that you want to do better for your child and well for my niece, and you want to really like just improve because I don't know, man. I really do know that how we're treated by our parents in our childhood really does affect us as an adult. I'm not gonna say like it's the dictator of how we'll be, but it is like a starting spot. Like, that's how the trauma starts. That's how all the flaws that we have that we're trying to change, that's where they stem from. Stuff that happened to us as an adult. So you're doing your role and you're doing your part to improve and do better. That's room for baby Ray to have less stuff to change, less flaws to have, So I really do think that's
Definitely,
beautiful. That's a great
definitely.
thing. So another thing I wanted to mention, because I know you did mention your brother and your sister, you do have siblings. Would you say that they were affected in the household as well, or were you like the main, I don't want to say target, but like the main, person who got it?
I felt like growing up, like before I left the house, I was the main person to get it. But as soon as I left, I feel like it went down to my sister, cause
Yeah,
now
that's
like she's like,
oldest, right?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like we've been talking a lot more, and like she's been telling me like stuff like her and my mom's relationship, and it's basically all the stuff that I used to go through with her, and like I be telling her, yeah, I understand where you're coming from. It's just stuff that she still has to work on, but like it's
Mm-hmm.
temporary. Like you're gonna understand when you get to like when you get more mature in life, like when you go through more stuff and you get to see things from like you have a lot of people need to learn to look through things through another person's perspective. Everybody looks through things but their own perspective, but nobody really looks
Facts.
through nobody really looks through other people's perspectives, what they're going through, why they act the way they act, why they got to the place they are in. They only look at their own. And once you're able to, step in somebody else's shoes and see how they view life, I feel like you can understand other people better.
Yeah,
And
that really is the true essence of growth. Seriously, being able to being able to put your feelings to the side to understand that somebody else had feelings too. I feel like that's an important thing. Like just you being able to say you understand your mom went through this, so you get it. You don't agree with it, but you get it. That's a big thing because some people, they just be so stuck on the fact that it's wrong. Like I know that was me. You want to be so stuck on the fact that this is wrong, you don't even want to think about why, like why this is wrong, why this is happening, and that's important
I,
too. And that's even more beautiful that you and your sister do speak, and your sister is your twin. They look just like y'all. So it's just really beautiful that y'all can talk because I know me and my older siblings, my oldest sister and my oldest brother, where we'll talk about like stuff that happened when we were younger and stuff. It's just really crazy because you can really live in the same household with people but have different experiences. Like I be talking to my brother and he lived a whole different life from us. Like the boys and the girls usually live two different experiences. I know like he thinks like we had it perfect and we think he had it perfect. So it's just really crazy how the dynamic of the household is really different and how the children feel and how the parents feel are two completely different things because she thinks stuff was gravy. She think everything was smooth and we're like,
yeah, man.
no, shit was shit. Like, what are
Man.
you talking about?
And another thing I hate when like they try to throw, oh, I was the parent that stayed. I did this, this, and that for
Yes,
you.
like
And all you can look at is the bad and all that. Like They think everything is justified just because like they took care of us. But like the thing I like that be getting to me is like first of all like you chose to have us. We didn't choose to be
Exactly.
here. It shouldn't be like I guess a chore to take care of your kid, to make sure your kid has a life they deserve, that you feel like they deserve, that they should deserve. Since you brought them into this world.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm never gonna do that to my kid. I'm never gonna throw that in their face that I took care of you, I did this and that for you. Cause like that's my job. I chose to have you. You my
Exactly.
responsibility. I'm gonna take care of you. Like I never
And
understood why
that's
parents
two
did that.
different conflicting opinions because like we feel like that, us the children, we're like, okay, yeah, like that's your job. You were supposed to take care of us, like that's what you're supposed to do. But in their mind, they're like, well, I didn't have to do this. Which is true. You didn't have to, but you were supposed to. And I really don't like the fact that they want us to reward them or, like I don't. Of course, we're thankful, but I don't feel like we should. Like it should be thrown in our face. You know what I'm saying? Like
It
this
shouldn't.
was your job.
Exactly. Especially since you made the decision to have us.
Exactly. And we didn't make the decision to be here. So at this point, why is this being thrown in my face? It's just not right.
It's not.
So would you say that another factor of it, of like the trauma stemmed from her being a single parent and you being the oldest child? Like did that dynamic?
See, at first, like I don't, cause like at first I remember like everything being all right with my mom. Like I think the problem started happening like when Katarina, like I'm not saying like because of Katarina, but like when she got pregnant the second time, and then my dad left, and then
Mm,
then I feel like that's when everything like just hit out of nowhere, and like she was like, "Dang, now I got two kids I have to take care of my own," and
right by herself.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it was like a switch. Like I
Mm-hmm.
remember I
And
used to,
I don't have any kids, so I can't even imagine
yeah.
how she really felt. You know. And he just or do does anybody like know his reasoning for stepping out or he just
See, that's I don't know. I always been contemplating that. Like I
right.
honestly feels because like how my mom handles situations. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying like, cause like I'm not saying that my dad is in the right for like leaving, cause like you knew who my mom was before you decided to have
Before
a kid, and you
right.
had a kid with her 3 times. So like that's on you. But like I feel like my mom expected something that she knew he wasn't, and
Mm-hmm.
he couldn't handle. He couldn't handle what she would say to him, and I guess she would give him ultimatums, thinking like he would choose the other thing, and he choose the way out. Cause like
Wow.
even yeah, 'Cause I remember even when it was split, I used to like it used to be like a split ownership of me. Like I would go down to North Carolina. I would go down to live with him for like during the summer, and I would live with my mom during the school year. But
Mm.
then like after I think Cameron came, like that started like doing like now like I'll see him like every other month, like a week, once a weekend, and then after Christopher, like it just all connection just went out the window.
That's just crazy to me. Like I can understand him not wanting to deal with her anymore, him not wanting to speak with her because like obviously I don't know the dynamic of what they went through and I don't know like how their relationship was. So that I understand. But once a child or children becomes involved, I can never understand how you can just forget about them. You know what I'm
Definitely,
saying? Like and I don't want to say that's what he did, but it's kind of like when you just walk out and you don't come back, what am I supposed to think? How am I supposed to feel?
exactly. And like when you're young, like it just when you processing it, and like you're not really understanding because like you at a young age, you're thinking it's your fault.
Exactly.
It just I don't know. I feel like I never really like dealt with those emotions either because I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know like what to think. Like I just acted like it was like I was saying earlier, I used to act like it was normal. Like it is what it is. Like I remember she used to always ask me like, how do I feel that I'm not in contact with my dad? How do I feel like he's not in my life and stuff like that? And I used to just tell her, I mean, it's all right, you know. But like as I've grown up, I feel like it had like I'm starting like to realize like the damage is done to like who I am now.
Right. I wonder, like, if I hope that he has some kind of regret. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hope that, you mean, like you said, the damage is done now, so he can't do anything to fix. the past. But as a man, and you're growing up to be a young man, and you're growing up to be a father, I would hope that he will want to come around and try to create a life that y'all didn't get a chance to create in the past. You know what I'm saying? Because I can relate to what you're saying about having to visit your father. I know, like me and my dad, he would get me on the summers, and he was in the military, so it was wherever he lived. If it was Tennessee, if it was Texas, wherever he was at, and we would go with him for the summer. But I had a lot of anger towards my dad, like a lot of anger towards my dad for like various reasons. And it didn't, and not until like really recently, until like after graduating college, did we start to form a relationship. And I really am thankful for the relationship that we have started to form, because I really do enjoy talking to my dad. Like, I really do enjoy having both parents. And there was a time in my life where I was like, well, I don't need anybody but my mama. And I don't, but I love my mama, but I like having other family members, and I have a lot of siblings, and we have a big family, but we're not family oriented. And that's one thing I always hated. Like, why don't I have cousins to call, grandparents to call, like uncles, aunties? Like, why aren't we close? And of course, a lot of that has to do with me. A lot of that is my fault. Like, I don't call. And then like a lot of it was like the divorce and everything. Like, nothing was good. So I don't know. I want, whenever I decide to have a family, or if I do have a family, or however that goes, I just want to make sure that it's more of a family oriented situation. And I've noticed that it probably won't even be my relatives. It'll probably be people like you. Like, it'll be my friends that my kids are around. You know what I'm saying? Because you, DeJana, like my best friends that I know are going to always be around and I can count on, and that'll be my kids' family. And I'm okay with that. So that's how I feel about that.
See, it's
But
crazy you talk about that because I feel like the family dynamic is really changing. Like what family actually is. Like we're starting to learn
right.
that your family doesn't have to just be your blood. It
Mm-hmm.
can be just whoever loves you and whoever you love. You know.
Exactly. That is facts. So, as an adult now, do you have any triggers that came from your childhood?
Um,
I know you say you don't. I know one of them, just because I know you. One of them, you are just so very like, you don't want to talk to nobody about nothing. You so closed off. Something could be so
yeah,
wrong with Shawn. You could see it all in his face. He can be like, nothing,
I still
nothing
do that
wrong,
now
nothing
too.
wrong.
I don't know. Like I can't. I don't know. I don't feel like people take things seriously. I feel like that's why I don't take things seriously a lot. Like I just feel like people don't. I don't know. The way I view life now is like it's so unserious because I realize like everything is so temporary. Even like pain, emotions, everything is just so It's so
That's true.
temporary. So I built myself to think like don't stress about this, don't stress about that. Even if I am going through and stuff, like all I need is like time by myself. All I feel like is I need time by myself, and then I'll be
See,
all right. Like, I don't know. I don't think I've ever encountered anybody like I just feel like I can just be open with about everything, other than God. Like I talk to God.
yeah, right,
You
right.
know, yeah, I
I
had to
I
talk to.
mean, I get that, but I feel like when you all start speaking like that, it's a fine line between being by yourself and then being what's the word I'm looking for? Dang, it was just on the tip of my tongue. What is the word I'm looking for?
Take your time.
What's the word I'm looking for? Nonchalant. Being
Hmm.
nonchalant. Like, y'all would just be very I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it's hard to form relationships like that. Like, when you have girlfriends or you have friends that you're really close to, and you just act really nonchalant towards them because you're like, oh, well, nothing serious to y'all, so nothing serious to me. And it's like, sheesh.
Yeah.
like, dang, like, I don't know.
I also feel like that's like it's impacted like me reaching out to people to talk to. You
Yeah.
know, because like I don't know. I struggle like reaching out to people. Like even if it's just like just to check on them, like or to talk. Like I struggle reaching out to people. 'Cause I always feel like people don't want to be bothered or like I don't know. I just be convincing myself that
I get that because
don't
that
need
was me.
to.
And I used to really take that personal too. And I'd be like, dang, ain't nobody checking up on me. But like, we gotta stop taking things so personal. First of all, people be busy. Like, people be
Mm,
busy. First of all, second of all, like you said, some people just like they're not comfortable doing it. Like it's something that they want to do, but they're like, dang, maybe I shouldn't do it. That's why, like with me, if I like even if I don't think something's wrong with you or with somebody I care about, I'll just check on them. Like even if I don't think you'll tell me, like I'll just check. So, maybe you'll want to tell me one day, like I'm here for you. Just like people know that letting people know that you're available for them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Letting people know that you're here to listen to them and you're here for them, even if they don't want anybody there for them. So that's why, like, you don't have to always reach out and you don't have to tell me that something's wrong, but just know that, like, I'm here for you always. For sure.
I
Always have been,
appreciate
always
that.
will be.
I appreciate that.
Of course, friend. So I only got one more
Vice versa
question.
too. Okay.
Huh?
Sure. I was just saying vice versa, but go ahead.
Already knowing. Already knowing. For lifers. So this
For
is the
life is
final
for
question, y'all. If you had one thing, well, I don't even want to say if because like you could tell her this right now if you wanted to. But if your mom was on the video call right now and you can tell her one thing, what would it be?
um stop stressing out, You
Right.
know, don't take life seriously, but don't take everything too hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like I get that you worry, but sometimes you also gotta put your mental health first.
Yes.
Cause like a lot of people don't realize stress can cause like a lot of issues for your health.
Yes.
Like it can cause pain, it can cause back pain, it can cause stuff to
Stomach
like develop.
pain,
Yeah,
head
it can cause
pain.
like it can cause all type of sicknesses too. Like especially
Mm-hmm.
the more stressed you are. Like I feel like people don't really realize like how bad stress can actually be. You know, and I feel like that's why like a lot of the people in our generation right now is like stuck on vaping because like they feel like the anxiety is too much to handle
Yes.
and like
Oh,
they use that as a crutch now.
well, that's a big message. I like that one. I like that one. Don't take everything too serious. That's a good one because I don't know. If you sit there and you let every little thing get to you, I just feel like you'll never really be happy. Like something's always going to happen. It's never going to be perfect. Like if you're out here chasing perfection, like I said in my previous episode, you were never created to be perfect. So how are you out here chasing perfectionism?
Right.
Like you can't, that just doesn't make any sense. You can't do that. So your mom, I love your mom. Your mom's wonderful. Like I know your mom. So your mom, I do want better for her. I want better for y'all. I want better for y'all relationship because y'all deserve it. She deserves it. You deserve it. Your brother and sister, everybody deserves it. And I do believe that it will get better. I do like hearing that things have gotten better. Like, and I already know things have gotten better just like by talking to you and like knowing like what has gone on. She is doing a lot better and like you are doing a lot better. Y'all are both just so educated with what's going on. Y'all are so aware of what's going on now. So I can only see it getting better from here. Honestly, it'll take time, but I can only see it getting better from here. And with baby on the way, like it'll just be a beautiful thing. So I'm
Def-
really, really excited for y'all.
Definitely.
Oh, friend, that wraps it up. That's all the questions. This was a good one.
Yeah.
I do want to say thank you so much for just being vulnerable and being open and honest because I know this probably wasn't easy to talk about.
Hmm.
You were amazing though. You were very thorough. You were very great. This was my favorite episode so far, y'all. I feel like I say that after every episode, y'all. But this is my favorite one for real, for real, for real. Like, this was a really good one. So, if y'all are listening on YouTube, please make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. When y'all comment, y'all, go ahead and hashtag mind you. Let them know who the best community is because, mind you, it's y'all. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, make sure to leave a 5-star rating and leave a review because that's how we're gonna get more people to see the show. Y'all gotta keep it in the rotation. Y'all know how the algorithm be. So y'all make sure to push it. Let me know how you like it. DMs, collabs, everything is available. All Sean's information will be in the description, y'all. So y'all please make sure to go follow my friend. Please, please, please. Especially his sports page because it's going up. He is hilarious and it's all the best takes coming. So y'all make sure to go follow Sean. Any last words, friend?
This is a W podcast by a W host. Make sure y'all blow her up, man. She
Yep.
going places.
Facts. Well, so you mean to tell me this was episode 3? We out.